Good morning, guys. Tony Maritato here, licensed physical therapist. And if you are dealing with some tightness, stiffness through the shoulder, one of the main motions of the shoulder is what we refer to as external rotation. Basically what that is taking the humeral bone, rotating it externally. I'm bringing my hand away from my body. External rotation is a component of flexion. So sometimes if I want better overhead motion, I can stretch external rotation. If you've ever been in physical therapy, you've done external rotation strengthening or stretching. So I'm going to show you my 3 favorite stretches that you could do at home right now to work on external rotation on either side, whichever is limited. But just to give you perspective, full range of motion for external rotation is 90 degrees. So I like to use the doorway. It could be a bathroom door, closet door, anything like that. And what happens is, if I'm standing in the doorway, I'm going to be using my right side in this video. This would be considered 0 in terms of internal external rotation. So 0 is arm at my side, hand directly in front of me. If I can touch the wall, grab my finger inside the door frame, that gives me an anchor. And what happens is from here, most people, even post-surgical situations where there's some stiffness in the shoulder, most people can get to this relatively easily. If you have a severely arthritic shoulder, you might have to turn into the door frame a little bit because you don't even have 0 degrees of external rotation. But once I can get to this position, what I do is I start to rotate my body away. This eventually will turn into this, which is kind of like a throwing position. Imagine throwing a ball. I've got my fingers hooked in here. I'm coming to the point where my body now is perpendicular to the frame of the door. This would be considered full range of motion. I can hold this position for a passive external rotation stretch or stretch into external rotation. In this position, I could do what we call a contract relax. So basically what I'm doing is I'm pulling forward at maybe 20% of my strength level to activate the musculature in the front of the shoulder. So the shoulder gets tight, I hold it for 5 to 7 seconds, and then I relax. And usually what happens is after you've tightened 5 to 7 second hold and then you relax, everything feels a little looser. So maybe I can turn a little further. And then I do it again. 5 to 7 seconds, I'm pushing forward. That's the contract. And then the relax, everything goes loose and I feel more range of motion. So from here, I can do it with the elbow below the shoulder and the wrist above the shoulder, but I can also now take it into an elbow at or above the level of the shoulder. Obviously, you can see how this starts to improve natural overhead flexion or reaching overhead. So here are the 3 exercises. First, we just get into this neutral position. And if you look at me, if you imagine if you flip the phone on its side, it's just like my normal sleeping position if I sleep on my right shoulder. Many of you have pain in the shoulder, you can't sleep in the shoulder, but doing this standing takes the pressure off and allows you to work on the range of motion. So stretch number 1. I'm in this position, I've got my fingers hooked, my elbow is braced against the door frame, and this is probably going to be easy for most of you. Stretch number 2, I turn, eventually getting to 90 degrees. Stretch number 3, I do that contract relax where I'm pressing into it and then relaxing. I'm holding it for 5 to 7 seconds. And the bonus is I bring it up into an overhead position. I can continue to do the contract relax where I'm pressing forward and then relaxing. This will absolutely improve the range of motion. In the next video, we can discuss what it is that you actually need to stretch because most of us don't need to stretch our muscles. Our muscles are generally elastic. Our muscles can feel tight, but they're probably not what's restricting motion. What's restricting motion is more the joint connective tissue. So I'll see you on the next video.